All right, we're doing this. One thing I wanted to talk about is the how do we call this? The field, okay? The empath field, morphogenetic field. I don't know what kind of field is it, but it is a field, and it has to do with magnetism and its expression in the body, or at least one expression in the body, is body voltage. You can look to the work of Dr. Tennant having to do with cancer and body voltage and nutrition for that matter, and you will understand the physical aspect of this. Now, I myself, as soon as I learned that, it blew my mind, because I was starting to understand what I was feeling, why women feel a certain way and think a certain way and look, and everything is different in a certain way during ovulation periods when this field is higher, and differently when it's lower. Why some people in certain contexts just go woo, hee-haw, woo, and it's just like, oh, the vibe here is so awesome. It tingles so nice and sparkly, right? And other people are, whoa, okay? Because this field, this body voltage that we have, this electricity, how it runs through us, it gives us a large field, nice and strong, or a weak, small one. And we're tired, sad, all kinds of blockages, internal blockages from like emotional things, trauma, focusing on crap, eating crap, not breathing properly, not resting properly. All of this ruins the field, right? Now, what I call magic are basically the cultivation of this field and the wise, skillful, masterful usage of the effects of this field, which are in fact quite magical. They are magical in nature, among animals and birds and things, and they are magical among humans. And as we shall see, the next level evolution of humans, which we may or may not have time to talk about within this video. So, empathy, empaths, okay? I have a pretty good idea that it has to do with this field, it being larger than in normal humans, than most humans. And I'm going to say that this is a variable trait, that all humans are empaths while they have a large field and they use it. That is, pay attention to magnetic effects and vibes and moods and hunches that come from this field. Like if you're an eagle and you see really well, but keep your eyes closed and focus on the hearing or smell, it's not going to give you the eagle eye, right? If you don't use it, if you don't focus on it in that sense, out of your several senses, you're not going to develop it. Your awesome eyeballs will not be that highly connected to the neurology in the back of the head, so that neurology that does the analysis from the signals from the eyeballs will not be so developed. I think this is what empaths do. They focus on that sense a lot, they use it to navigate life, and because they use it, like a muscle, it develops. The brain allocates more neurology to interpreting and linking up and making sense of these intuitive signals, which come, again, from the magnetic field. Or it's not magnetic in this, it's not just magnetic, because if it were magnetic, we would be able to measure it with just simple electronic devices. But it has other components which I suspect are only be able to be felt by biological organisms with a decently high field. In other words, I'll give you some examples. If you talk to somebody and they sit too close, okay, like this, it doesn't bother you. But if somebody really comes up to your face and you don't like them, and they're not your lover, they're not your friend, they're not anybody, they're just too close, some unknown guy, right? You just freeze up, you just, because their unknown field enters yours. If somebody looks at you weird, okay, you get the same effect. There's some things that trigger in your mirror neurons and things happen and you get the creepy vibes. Or if you like them, they look at you in a nice way. Ooh, things are happening. High intensity response in both directions. So I'm saying that this field, if we were to detect it, we would have to, for instance, have electronics that produce it. And there's no electronic thing that you have it, and when it's too close, it freaks you out. Okay, this just doesn't happen. We don't have it yet. There's no electronic device that will measure when a dog or a human is giving it the nasty look or the interested look. We don't have that yet. But in humans and in animals, it does work. You look funny at a bird, it notices. You look funny at a dog, it notices. You look funny at another human, generally it notices. There's a pretty decent response. Maybe they leave, maybe they ask you what's up. What am I saying here? What I'm saying here is this. Meditation, that is mindful breathing with eyes closed, or sleep, deep breathing with eyes closed, will raise the field. Okay? Talking, acting, doing things in real life, digesting food will lower the field. Okay? See what I'm saying here? So, I think at least for this video we can call it the empath field, because that's one of its effects. You can see that it's much higher and better with psychedelics. So while you're with psychedelics, you feel everything, like somebody does something weird over there at 50 meters and oh my god, that guy's so freaky. It goes down with alcohol. It goes down with alcohol, and I'm going to submit cigarettes. It goes down temporarily with cigarettes for about, let's say, half an hour. But because smokers generally link them up, it's always down, because as soon as it goes up again, no, cut it, no, that way you get no emotional data, or very, very little. It's all manageable, it's all sanitized, but you don't have access to your large emotional stuff, the subtle stuff that's, you look at something through this much seeing space, you're not going to see as much as if you open and put your full field of view on it. It goes down with alcohol, and you can see that people who are drunk are more zoned out from the emotional realities around them in that room. They may be bothering everybody, but they themselves don't notice it. Okay? So this is how it works. What I'm saying is, I'll give you one example. I think it also has to do with when we have a high EM field or an empath field outside, we also have a high body voltage inside. So that means we have a really good direct feeling from the gut here, from the emotions. Now, if our emotions are awesome, because we hang out around people we like and we like our job and everything is nice, it makes the most sense. It's really healthy to have high body voltage. This is proven, this is shown. If you have really low body voltage, you get cancer. Ta-da, and game over. But what if your emotions are not pleasant for actually good reasons? Maybe you live in a home, in a house with people you genuinely dislike, and maybe they dislike you. Maybe your marriage is wrecked. Maybe you live with mom and dad who are basically control freaks. Maybe they're smokers, drinkers. Maybe they're noisy. Maybe they're annoying. Legit annoying. I'm not talking a little bit. I'm talking screaming at you, doing nasty stuff. Well, then it's a good sort of intuitive strategy to start and suppress these emotions or not be fully aware of them, because that allows you to get the grades at school and make the food and eat the food and so on. But if you learn this as a long-term strategy, you learn to be like out of a channel that's like this between your emotions here and your head. If the norm is like this and you learn to run it at a quarter or less, everything else is suppressed. This gives you lower body voltage. All your emotions are more dulled, reduced, partial, and you don't feel your emotions all that well, and you don't feel the other people's emotions all that well. So that means when you have a kid, which comes at a default open channel like this, you'll do things that wreck their emotions here, but you won't feel it because your active sensing area is just this. So everything that you do that basically fucks with people here or here, you won't feel it. Somebody that's drunk is like this, okay? And they do things where they bother maybe 10 people in a room and they don't notice it. If you ask them the next day, how was yesterday evening? Oh, it was fine. I felt fine. Okay, how did everybody else feel? I don't know. They were fine. Yeah. Oh, really? Let's ask them. And you ask them, and 10 people will tell you they were bothering, like the drunk guy was bothering me. The drunk girl was annoying, noisy. It was bothering everybody. It spoiled the vibe in the room, and so on. But they don't notice. So this is an effect of reducing receptivity to emotions of self and others, and then basically anything that's out of your range of sensing. So here or here, you no longer feel. You're numb to it, and you just go like this, blind through life. Of course, in nature, there are means for this to not happen. In nature, it's very different. In nature, if you look at birds, very empathic. They know exactly what's happening. Maybe not as in terms of emotions, but in terms of distances, intent. Does that thing over there want to eat me or play with me, or what's up? So if you go like this, and the big rooster has a big field, really expressive, really nice. He's like this. You go like this. You get into its like at close distance, and you bother him. He's gonna look. He's gonna give you a dirty look. If you notice this, because you're really aware, all around you, you'll feel the dirty look, and ooh, something nasty is coming my way. I better back off and stop doing what I'm doing. But if you don't, right, you go in blind. You don't notice the dirty look. What it does next is it hits you over the head with the beak or the back of your neck here. Just poof, and then you're like, whoa. And the effect that has is a sort of opening. It's an immediate opening to, okay, what did I do? Who did I do it to? Like immediately your attention rises. Probably if the bird were drunk, it would be a little less drunk from the fighting. I mean, people hit you over the face a couple of times, it really tends to wake you up. And you're not going to do it anymore, at least not to that other rooster. Okay? Now, what did I want to say here? I want to say that there's an effect of pretty much like a battery. We charge up while we rest, meditate, spend time in nature, barefoot on grass, meditating in forests and so on. And we lower this while we spend time in shoes, which are electric insulators, while we speak all the time, while we analyze signal all the time. That is the blah, 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 blah of news, for instance, high-speed verbalizing chatter crap. And if you look at groups, some very interesting things are happening. Like when people come together, when their fields interact, energy starts to rise in some way, if the fields are compatible. If they're highly incompatible, it will rise in the sense that they will argue and fuck off. If they're nice and compatible, it will rise in the sense of them being friends. It's a really or lovers. Saying, whoo, spend time with certain people. Oh, whoo, interesting. When energy rises in the body, when body voltage rises, we have a tendency to do certain things with it. We can send it out by eyes, and that is, people will spend time together physically, but one of them will look away at more than 1 meter distance. So they won't be here with the attention. People will be together, and then zone out. Now, my observation is that when you focus at long distance, you are actually sending energy that way, which means your energy gets lower, you send it out, you disperse it. You analyze data from a distance that's maybe more or less relevant to you, and disperse it. Or talking. I've seen groups, in fact most groups, if you listen, if you put a microphone in there and listen, there's at no point more than 10-second silence at best. Take any group of 2, 3, 5, 10 people, unless they're meditators gone someplace to really do meditation or yoga, the silence ain't gonna be there. It's not gonna be there. Somebody always breaks it. They have to break the energy down to keep it down so it doesn't rise up. If you ask for 20 seconds of silence, 30 seconds of silence, they will immediately start to look at distance, okay? If you do things like, okay, let's all sit in a circle, eyeballs inward or closed, so the energy doesn't escape the group area through the eyeballs. Nobody looks at distance, okay? No talking, and we breathe. Because the third way of not getting energy up is when you block breath. Energy goes up, voltage goes up by the exhale. Like this. You do this in a group, magic starts to happen. Fingers, you have two people touching fingers like this. They have two hands, so touch all 10 fingers. Eyes closed, breathing, see what happens. Any couple with issues, anything, do this, okay? 10 fingers, touch fingers like this, facing each other, not touching the knees, no talking. This stuff, you will see stuff starting to happen within minutes. Within 2 to 5 minutes, you will be either fighting, going at each other, clawing, scratching, or you'll be going at each other maybe in other ways, which are more creative and constructive. But still, things will happen. Now, let's talk a bit about magic. The magic is that what I call magic is the high, masterful application of this electric, whatever this field is, coming through fingers, voice, sound, or in other ways, even with the eyes, with the gaze. One of the, I mean, I know I'm vlogging here, so I'm talking, but one of the least magical, or let's say most safe but least effective forms of magic is with the talking. Okay, the vlogging is still pretty effective if done right, but if I were face to face with you in your room, okay, I could do things with you that I can't do now, and those things would be more risky. Like you'd have to leave a guy you just basically barely know or don't know at all into your room, into your space, into your life. And I have things that I can do with my fingers, pressure point techniques. I can poke you, I can do things which will, it will trigger interesting energies, for better or worse. So there's the verbal and there's the tactile use of this energy. And there's also sound that's non-verbal, which is what animals use actually. And it's a very different thing, because verbal comes from up here and the animal sounds come from down here. Like this, okay? So, things you can do with this energy, with the magic. Obviously you can sense things, empath skills, you can sense moods and all that. This can help you in interviews, it can help you in helping people, it can help you in taking somebody else's guy or girl, which is quite good if they don't deserve it and don't treat them right. What else? You can heal people with the fingers, either by touch or by not touch, like this, when you're high energy field. That means you can't do smartphone all day and do this. Okay, I'm not super high energy now at this moment, so I have to work a few days to building it up, but it's fine, it's going there. Pressure point technique, and a certain type of massage and pressure point thing that only works at a high energy field, and because you're transmitting things. There's a link from your belly here and your energy source to theirs, whoever you're helping. And if you know the points, and if you know the techniques and the breath style and everything, you can heal people. Done this for months now, and I'm doing it. What else? You can basically use it, you can use this, so this thing that works like this and it connects with other people's fields, you can use it inside your head, inside your neural network. If you have a lot of charged neurons, so if you stop them from constantly firing, constantly discharging, for a while, you stop, reduce the firing. Everybody gets charged up, everybody gets ready. See, everybody gets ready. And then you look for ideas, look for observations. You observe something either outside or inside, some memories, something, and it will spark. It will spark an idea that's never been sparked before. This is very interesting to understand because you have two things here. Between two areas of your brain, two concepts like this, okay? Monkey business, for instance. You have the direct connection, so it just goes straight like this in a line, and the metaphorical connection. The metaphorical connection is where creativity happens, where new ideas happen. They don't happen on a low field like this. It needs more energy. It needs neurons need to fire on a longer, larger, less used path. It doesn't happen unless you're in a crisis. You have to try something new because everything else doesn't work. Or you're really high energy, you know, there's no crisis, you're really high energy, and you're bored. Like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try this, I'll see where it goes. And you can use this high energy thing to make so many things. You can turn, I think this is what I'll wrap it up with. You can get, so you have the matter, okay, the physical matter, or it can be this is physical matter. And then you have how much field you're running through it, okay? Bruce Lee didn't have a lot of physical matter to him. He didn't have that many kilograms of matter. He wasn't like a mountain of a guy, but it was like his magic, his electrics, you know, like really, really well trained, really masterfully worked, firing rhythms and things in his neurology and his nervous system and everything. You have this, okay, you can turn a brush like this in some paint if you've got the proper electronics up here into all kinds of things that you can sell for millions of dollars and so on and so forth. You can take, you give like a normal laptop computer and some internet connection to some hobo weirdo. They're not going to do that much with it. I'll watch porn, I'll see what the weather is like, and you're done. You give it to a proper, like to Steve Jobs or something, a proper entrepreneur or coder or something. They're going to make a ton of magic happen with it. Okay? So, I'm saying this type of energy that gathers inside us, the high energy field, that you see around saints and the Buddha and Jesus and so on. We can use this in so many ways, and it's real. It's not something that you see just in Buddhist scriptures and icons. We all have it. It's just a matter of getting it from urban dweller, this level, to forest meditator, skydiver, super martial artist, athlete, whatever you want to be. If you work your field well, if you work your cycles well, if you go with nature as opposed to against its cycles, it's going to work out. Okay. As you can see, my challenge is making my videos shorter, because who watches a 23-24 minute video? But thanks for watching if you did, and I'll see you next time.